Hey neighbor, here we are, middle of April, and it's dry. Now the garden seems to be looking pretty good. Everything seems pretty happy, but we are what they call an exceptional drought, which is the worst classification you can get on drought. The last several months, we've had very little rainfall, and our surface water, our ponds, creeks, and rivers are all really low. The land is dry, almost powdery dry. It's one of them years I am really thankful we got drip irrigation. We've got our whole garden this year under drip irrigation, which is what we normally do, and sometimes it pays off more than others, but this year it's paying off because every drop of water is precious. We all worried that some of our wells may go dry. We worried about a lot of different things at this point. We're fixing to get in a critical stage on this drought that we're in. So it's kind of tough where we're at. We're here in South Georgia. Other parts of the country are facing the same thing we are. I looked at the map the other day. There are some areas in the United States that's doing okay, but I'm gonna tell you folks, here in South Georgia, it's getting touch and go. But today, I was gonna show you something we've been working on for quite a while now that's new and exciting here at Hoss. We were fortunate a few months ago to be able to purchase some land real close to where our home office is at. As you probably know, we have another location about 6 miles from our home office where we do our live plant shipping. We do some assembly at another warehouse. But we was able to acquire 10 acres about 500 foot from our home office, which was perfect because we've kind of outgrown where we're at there. We got 10 acres where we're at, and we don't have a lot of room to expansion there. Some of the land in the back lays off into kind of a low area back there, and it'd be really impractical to build on it. So be able to acquire this land real close to our home office area was exciting. We was able to do that. It's got a house on there, which we really didn't need, but the land lays really nice here, and we have put in a metal building there, and I'm going to show you the inside of it. That's going to be our seed starting facility right there. And if you can look over a little bit on this way, you can see the guys out there working. We're adding greenhouses here too. So this is going to be our plant growing operation. We'll still send them from here to Moultrie to our other facility down there to ship them out, but this will be where all the plants start at. In the past, we've hired another greenhouse operation to plant our trays and to grow our plants out for us. We're bringing all that in-house, and we're going to do it all ourselves so we can control the inputs better. Plus, we're going to create some systems so that we can get your plants out quicker to you and get better plants out to you. It's all a part of this whole strategy we've had for the last couple of years. So this building right here we installed, and this building is strictly for starting seed trays and getting them germinated before they go to the greenhouse. Come on, I'll show you around. First off, right here is our seed starting line that just came in last week. Now this right here, folks, is some fairly complicated equipment that we're excited to have here. This equipment is made in Italy, and I don't know what it is, but most of your seed starting technology and innovation happens in Italy. And this equipment comes from there, and there's a couple more manufacturers over in that part of the world here. It's just always been weird to me how certain things work out in certain different locations. Just to give you an example of that, the Netherlands are really good. They're kind of a hub on seed breeding and researching things on developing new varieties and hybridization and things like that. And even in the United States, there's a place in California called Salinas, California, where there's kind of a hub for all the seed dealers and breeders in the United States. So it's kind of weird how everything kind of works out of these little small locations, and they specialize in certain things. Well, that's the case with this equipment right here. They just specialize in this kind of stuff in Italy. So we got this in, we purchased it actually last year. We had to wait on some of it to be built, some of it to be brought over. It was a long process. But this right here is a bell shaper. Now the weird thing about this is we put these tall, what called skyscraper bales. This is what they call a skyscraper. This is a big 1 bale of compressed seed starting mix here. This is what the commercial guys use, and this is what we're going to use as well. So this 1 bale here would do 750 162 trays, which what we're set up for is to be able to seed 162 trays here. So there's a lot inside this bale right here, but the thing about it is once we put it inside this machine, we don't have to resupply it very often because there's a lot in there, which makes things automated and makes things a lot better. So you'll put that in there with a forklift here. Tray right there goes to the bottom. We set our pallet, our skyscraper of seed starting mix on that. And as it goes up, there's a top bar that shaves off the seeds start to mix at the top, so it just continually goes up till your bale is completely empty. And it shaves this off so it's nice and loose and we don't have any lumps or anything like that in there. And then it comes out this chute here, and there's another funnel there that goes on there that I've got to install this afternoon that'll come down that will feed into this machine right here. This machine right here also does the same thing, kind of busts up. There's paddles down in there. And then it goes over right here inside this machine here, and it fills our trays with soil. And then it sweeps off the top, and as it comes out here, it blows any extra off. So when the seed tray comes out this part right here, it's ready to go into the seeder. It's already been filled with soil. It's been brushed off the top. It's got the exact amount in there we need. We have structured this whole system on this tray here. This is our 162 tray that we love. And everything right here is designed for this tray here. Now, can we switch over to another tray? Absolutely. But we brought this thing in configured to do just this one tray here, trying to standardize everything. And the 162 tray, to me, is a do-it-all tray. We can do everything inside this tray right here. So we will actually take this tray, load it on this conveyor belt right here, and it starts the process going through. We had this dibbler built for that tray here, and the dibbler sits right here. This is the seeder part of the machine. So the tray has came out, is perfect, ready to go into the seeder. So the dibbler will fit right here, and it will actually dibble in the middle of that seed cell, a little indentation where the seed will be. And then right here is where all that magic happens. So we have different drums that we can pull out here and put on this little bar right here for different size seeds here. And that drum has got little holes that's going to match that seed, and it pulls a vacuum on those seeds. And as it comes around, it throws that seed off. So it's very precise. And I don't care pretty much what kind of seed you're talking about. They make a drum for it. They shipped it with 4 different drums. So we should be able to see just about any seed from celosa, which is really, really small, all the way up to sunflower seeds with this same right here by simply just changing out the drums right there. So we got to have a vacuum pump on the backside, and we also got to have an air compressor on the backside to make this machine work correctly. The conveyor moves the tray over right here to what we call the cover and the water tunnel. This little hopper right here is going to hold perlite or either vermiculite to cover up the trays here. And it's got an adjustment on it right here so we can adjust how much comes out to cover that. Now, you know, if you've watched me very long, I like to use perlite on my vegetables, but we use vermiculite on watermelons, and we'll use a good bit of vermiculite on some our flowers as well. So we have the opportunity to change it out right here. Of course, we have these sight glasses right in here, and it'll just put out the exact amount of what we need. And then we move toward the end right here, and this is what we call a water tunnel. This right here wets the plant. These 2 bars right here actually have holes in them, and it wets the tray as it comes out and gives it sufficient moisture to germinate. And as it rolls out, that right there, it runs just on this simple little conveyor belt right here. And this is where we take the trays off and we load them on a pallet. We're going to stack them on a pallet, and we'll go up to about 4 or 5 feet high. And then we'll take a plastic wrap and wrap that pallet so that we hold that moisture inside of those trays. And after we hit those trays full and we get ready to move them, we move them to this room over here, which is probably one of the biggest germination chambers you've ever seen. So this is where the magic happens right here. This room right here will stay 85 degrees. It will distribute out the heat. If you can see here, our ductwork is at different lengths there. The reason for that is we want to keep really good distribution of heat, because if we don't, we're going to be getting more heat to some trays than we do others. This room here can hold at least 20 to 25 pallets. So there's going to be a lot of seeds that could be put in here, and we want to make sure that we keep even heat on those. If you don't, what'll happen when you put them in the greenhouse, you'll notice very sporadic germination, and your plants will be at different heights, and we don't want that. We want real good consistency. And that's part of the reason we have to leave these airflow vents out, that we get really good, even heat inside here. Most, not all, most of the plants or the trays will stay in this room right here for 24 hours. There are exceptions to that, but for the most part, it's a 24-hour process inside this 85-degree room. At that point, we'll take a forklift, take out a pallet, move it out here, and put it on a little trailer, and carry it out to the growing greenhouse. You can see the guys are out there installing another 150-foot automated greenhouse for us. We're going to be putting another one next to that right there. And if you notice that thing looks a little offset, the reason is greenhouses need to be set up north to south. In our building here, we squared up to the road, and it's not exactly north and south. We had to kind of stagger our greenhouses there so we get north and south orientation to them. And the reason for that is you never have any shade. If the sun comes up and you're facing north and south, it always gets the same amount of sunlight all during the day. So we're putting the 150-foot one up there. Few weeks or a couple months, they'll be starting on another one next to it. And we got plenty of room to add more greenhouses down the way there. Now, the way our system is going to work is we're going to grow these plants in here at this location till they're almost ready. And then we'll transfer them 6 miles the road to our other greenhouse. And that other greenhouse is where our shipping facility is. We'll finish them off there. We'll have the plants there for when those orders come in, so they can go pull those plants there and get them shipped out. We're real excited about all this because it's going to allow us to grow a lot different varieties at a lot more time so we can increase our plant offering dramatically. If you've known in the past, we've had plants offered for the last 3 years, and we've had certain varieties, and we've kind of moved them around a little bit because our capacity wasn't at a point where we could offer everything. So we're looking forward to this fall being able to offer a huge different array of different varieties so that we could kind of give you exactly what you need, and we're excited about that. We've been working on this for over a year. This equipment came in a couple of weeks ago. They're sending a technician down from Ohio next week to spend 3 days with me to get this thing up and running operational. I got a lot that's got to happen in the next 3 days before he gets here. I got to have everything hooked up. So we're working tirelessly to get it in a situation so we can get it up and going, get our greenhouses through. Maybe by the end of next week, our goal is to have this right here running. Maybe that'll happen. Then we have some training to be done on it and understand exactly how everything works so we can fine tune it and get it putting seeds in those trays, covering it up and watering them, where we can get them in the germination chamber and get them in the greenhouse. We'll do another video in a couple of 3 weeks when we get this thing running, because it's going to be super cool to be able to see those bales go in there and that tray come out finished product without having to touch it. So we'll show you all that when we get it up and going. But in the meantime, folks, when you lay down tonight, if you would say a little prayer that the good Lord will send us some April showers, because we need them in a bad way.